So in order to get started with Sketch, all you have to do is head over to sketchup.com and download a free trial. And then you get access to the app for around 30 days. And you can give it a spin and learn how to use it and see if it's the right kettle of fish for you. Now, Sketch is only currently available for Mac. And if you're running Windows or you don't have access to a Mac laptop, I'll show you later on how to use Marvel to do your mockup and prototyping. So don't worry if you don't have access to this. For those of you guys who want to learn a bit more about Sketch and how to use it to create mockups and designs, and once you've downloaded it, installed it, and open it, it should take you to a welcome screen like this one. And we're going to click on the iOS UI design to bring up the iOS template. And I'm just going to save my file as a Sketch example. And I'll put it into my documents. Okay, cool. So that's done. Now, let me just show you around. So Sketch is optimized for UI design, and it's also really, really good for creating vector objects. So most of the icons that you'll see on the toolbar here are for designing vectors. Now, you can change your toolbar preferences to display whatever it is that you want up here. So in the left-hand pane, you've got the navigation area. You're navigating between your different pages, and also something called symbols. So symbols is something that's new to the current version of Sketch. So I'm using Sketch 41 at the moment, which is the latest version. And symbols is a really, really cool feature because it allows you to create reusable components that you can put into your designs. For example, how many times are you going to need a navigation bar in each of your screens? Many, many times, right? Instead of designing all of them again and again, you can just simply put in a symbol. And when you update the design for the symbol, all of the other ones update. So it's really neat. And I'm going to show you how we use it. So first things first, we've got this page one that has a bunch of iOS UI components. It's got keyboards, it's got status bars, it's got navigation bars, and you'll notice this infinite zoom that you have within Sketch. So you can zoom in as much as you like. And because everything is vector, they'll forever stay sharp. So depending on what you need, you can pick it out of this template. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create a new page. So I'm going to go to File, New Page, and I'm going to call this page iOS app. So the way that you usually use pages in Sketch is for different platforms. So I'll have one page for my website, I'll have one page for the iOS app mockup, I'll have one page for the Android app mockup, for example. So now I've created my new iOS page, and you can see here I've actually got an infinite canvas, so it just goes on and on. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to insert an artboard, which is going to be a screen in my app. So if you just hit Insert, Artboard, and you can choose what kind of artboard you want. So we want iOS devices to be selected, and I'm going to pick the 1X iPhone 7. So this is the screen dimensions for an iPhone 7 design, and we're ready to design. So the first thing that we're going to do is head over to that template and find a nice status bar to put into our app mockup. So I think I'm going to go for a dark navigation bar, so something like this. So I'll probably go for a light status bar, so maybe something like this. And then I'm just going to copy and put that in here, paste here. There we go. So now it's kind of invisible because it's white, but that's okay. We're going to go back and grab our dark navigation screen, and then all will be well. So let's paste that here and put that over here. And now you can see it's covering the status bar. So we can either send it to back, or you can actually arrange the order of your layers like so. Okay, so that's looking pretty neat. Now we're going to want to change the title of our navigation bar. So obviously each of our navigation bars are going to have a different title. So the simplest way is just selecting the symbol, which are denoted by these, what looks like the recycle symbol to me. I'm sure there's a better way of describing that. But anyways, so now you can do something called override. If you have a whole bunch of artboards, let's just put in another one. and you want to have navigation bars on each of them, right? So then you could copy this one over and paste it over here. Now, while I'm here, I'm just going to show you another way of inserting symbols, and it is used when you know already what it is that you want. So if you just go into Insert, Symbol, and then you can navigate to the thing that you need. So currently I'm looking for a navigation bar, and I know that it's called Normal Dark from browsing. And now if I click on that, then it becomes attached to my mouse cursor and it'll be placed wherever I click on. So I'm just going to put it here. Okay, cool. So now I have two navigation bars, and obviously I want different titles for each of them. So let's change this title by using the override over here on the right, and we'll call that home screen. And this one we'll call workout screen. Now, obviously that's up to you, whatever it is that you want to put in there, and you can also override the cancel and the done buttons. So that's that. Now let's go back to the home screen, and I want to add a bit more design to it. Now the next thing I want to add is a background to my screen. So I'm just going to draw a rectangle and pretty much have it the size of the screen. And we're going to fill it with a gradient. So let's pick our gradient colors, and we'll just choose something quite simple like that. And you can obviously change the directions of the gradients or the degree of the gradient by just manipulating this little line here. Okay, I think that looks fine. So now let's just send that back. Now this top navigation bar is looking a bit too dark for me now, so I'm going to reduce the opacity and make it look more iOS-y. That's not a word, definitely. But opacity down to about 65%, and it looks a little bit more translucent. That looks brilliant. So the next thing I want to do is I want to insert a button. So I'm going to create a button by drawing a rectangle shape like so, and then we can make that center aligned by going over here and clicking the center alignment button. Now it's bang in the middle, and I want to change the fill to maybe a solid color, like a red color. Next, I'm going to add a bit of text. So let's just write something like button. I'm going to change the font size to maybe 30, and I'm going to select the rectangle and my button text, and I'm going to center them both together. Now next, I want to make it a little bit round, so let's just increase that radius there to bit more like that. That looks great. So now I'm happy with my button. I'm done designing it. So I want to put this button in a number of places. So I'm going to turn it into a symbol. Now, if I select my text and my button together, I can either group this by hitting group selection, which means that every time I select it, I'll select both. Which is useful, but I'm going to make it even more useful by clicking this button here, which is create symbol. So I'm going to call my symbol red button, which seems descriptive, and I'm going to leave this checked to send it to the symbols page over here. Okay, hit OK. That's done. Now if I have a look in my symbols page, if I zoom out, I should be able to find my button called red button over here. So now if we go back to our iOS app and I want to put this button on another screen, say over here, then I can simply go insert symbol red button, and I can put it wherever it is that I want. And instead of the text saying button everywhere, which is a bit dumb, I can override it to say click me, or over here something like download. So that's pretty easy. Now what if I become unhappy with the way that the button is designed? Well, it's equally easy to change that symbol. So if we head over to the symbol page, and I'm going to change the fill now to a different color, a light green. There we go. And if I head back to the iOS app, you can see that all the changes are reflected everywhere. So the other thing that you might need to do is inserting images like so. So if we go over to our workout app asset, we've got some images over here. Let's just select the lunge one. There we go. So there's our lunge, and we can put it over here. You can resize it however you like. You can put it behind everything, or you can put it in front. or you can line it up with the button by again going like this, or you just select everything here. Then we can line it up in the center of the screen. So how easy was that? Within 5 minutes of barely designing, I've got a home screen with a navigation bar, a status bar with an image and a button, and then I can go on to design my next screens, etc. So I would say that 95% of the time when you're designing your app screen, all you need to do is just to use the symbols that are provided in the iOS UI template. And remember that you can either insert them like so, or you can go to page 1, browse for the one that you like, and then just copy and paste it over. And then we learned a little bit about using colors, using gradients, and there's a whole different variety of colors that you can pick and choose from. Ideally, just go through them, try it out, play around with it, and see which one you like. And we also showed you how to use overrides on the symbols by changing the title label. And you can actually override more than just text. So if I just go and insert a tab bar, a bottom tab bar, something like this. Let's just put that over here. Now I just want to show you that you can also override images. So for example, the first one here is just a blue box, and I'm going to change this by hitting choose image, and I'm going to go over to my workout app assets. I've got some tab bar icons saved here. I'm going to change it to the home.png, and you can see it appear here. And I'll change that text to home. So that was pretty simple, and you can do the same for the rest of them. So overriding the images or overriding the text is as simple as just hitting a button and changing the text. So basically, I just want to show you how easy and intuitive it is to use Sketch to create mockups for your apps or websites or whatever it is that you want to do. And it has a whole bunch of tools. It's super lightweight. It's something like 100 megabytes to download compared with Photoshop, which takes up something crazy like 20 gigabytes. But essentially, when you're designing your mockup, most of the things that you'll be using is going over to the symbols page and browsing for the thing that you need from here. So you've got loads of things, alerts, you've got pop-ups, you've got keyboards, etc. Finding the thing that you need and then inserting it into your artboard, and then just editing it in the right hand side pane, using some of these alignment tools in order to make it look centered or edge aligned or whatever it is that you need, and then using the overrides for the symbols to change them. And I also showed you how to create your own symbols for designs that you want to reuse, and how to insert images. So those are pretty much all the things that you need to know in order to create your designs in Sketch. So other than these components that Sketch provides by default, I'm going to show you another really great resource where you can get free Sketch design resources. So it's a website called sketchappsources.com, and on here you have a whole bunch of free resources that'll help you with a lot of your designs. So some of these are vectors for icons, such as these, for example, these icons, and some of these are user interface designs and layouts, for example, something like this. And you can basically just download these resources and then unzip them, and when you open them up, so this one's called Stitch by, and I don't have those fonts, but that's okay. Now here you can see the user interface that this designer has designed, and if you like one of these layouts, for example, I think that looks pretty neat, you can just copy it over to your app. So there it is. And then if you need to adjust these things, for example, let's move that add to cart button down a bit more, then you can if you need to. So this is a super simple way of starting to design your mockups for your user interface. And there are so many really, really awesome free resources on Sketch App Sources. In fact, there's 2,318 resources that designers have uploaded in here. It's a real candy store. It really is a nice window shopping experience where you can go and have a look at what else you might want to incorporate. So say if you needed to have a notification bar, then this person here has very kindly designed a beautiful notification template, and you can just copy that over to your Sketch file like we did before. Now I've taken the wireframes that I've created earlier on by sketching, and I've turned them into mockups using Sketch. So you can take a look at the screens that I've designed based on those wireframes, and I've shared the project in a link in the text box below. So that's another really cool feature about Sketch. You can share your designs with anyone or share it privately with a particular person. And you can have a look at my thoughts for how the wireframes could be converted into mockups. Now, these mockups were created in about an hour using some of the resources that I've designed previously, as well as some designs from Sketch app resources. So it really didn't take all that long. So have a look at those mockups and download Sketch and have a play around with it. In the next lesson, we're going to talk about how to use another tool called Canva in order to design mockups. Now, this is for people who don't have access to a Mac and therefore can't download and use Sketch. So we're going to show you a browser tool called Canva that'll allow you to build your mockups online without any specialized design tools. So have a look at those mockups and download Sketch and have a play around with it, and I'll see you on the next lesson.